Hello, my name is Russ Bailey. I'm your student's AP Calculus AB teacher. This video is just intended to give you guys some information in case you can't make it to back to school night this week. So what will we talk about in this presentation here? Talk about what the class is, what the class will be like for your student, how your student will be graded, and what your student will need for this class, and what if your student's absent, and how can you help your student, and finally, how can you get a hold of me if you need to. Okay. So let's take a look at our first thing. What is this class? This is calculus. So it's a cool class. Looks really good on a college transcript. So it's nice that your students have decided to step up and challenge themselves with the class. It is an AP class, and what that means is that we're gearing towards getting the kids to take a test at the end of the year. And that test is, it's possible if they pass it that they can actually get credit for college classes, which is nice. So they usually only pay about $5 to take the test, but a college class could cost hundreds of dollars. So great way to save money and get ahead of the game a little bit. And so that's the nature of the class and what we're doing. Now, what does the class look like? I'm trying out something this year known as a flipped model, and I figured it would be a pretty good transition for what we just came out of with our distance learning. But it's actually something I've been wanting to try for a while now. And so basically what it is, I have the kids watch the lesson at home, and then we do the practice problems in class. Usually in teaching it's reversed. The teacher teaches it in class, the kids practice it at home. What I like about the flip model is that this way kids are taking notes at home. And though they may have trouble understanding it while they're at home, they can still at least take the notes. And we can work on those misunderstandings when they get in class tomorrow. And in class, we can work on those problems. Whereas usually when I give kids a homework worksheet, there's really nothing they can do to get help. We did what we could in class, and now there's no one to help them at home. So I really like the idea of being able to do the actual practice problems in class. So I'm kind of eager for it. It seems to be going good so far. But this is what a typical class week looks like. So as you guys can see here on Monday and Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, all these days we're basically just doing classwork in class. I start off the first 5 or 10 minutes, just kind of do a quick little review, and then we do the classwork. It's due at the end of the block. On the evenings, the kids watch a lesson, and my lessons are about an hour long. Now, you'll notice that something different here happens on Tuesday night. Instead of giving them a video to watch, I give them a study guide. And that's because on Wednesdays we have our weekly quiz. Okay, in their study guide, I give them a study guide that's supposed to look a little bit like the quiz that they're going to see. And then I also give them a video where I go over the problems if they get stuck on one of them. But all those questions should be coming from stuff that we've already talked about in the week before. Now in calculus, I also give a couple of extra things you'll see on the weekend here. We haven't started this one yet, the review worksheet. That's for we're going to constantly be reviewing old stuff as we go. So that's something that will be added on later. But on Saturday, I'd recommend them working on an FRQ practice, which there's a video to show them how to do these things called FRQs, which are free response questions. And then I let them have a practice worksheet. For a lot of students, that seems to be the hardest part of this year. And I'm kind of working on a way right now to kind of deal with that. But as it is, that's where we're at with that. And free response questions, what they are is these are just AP questions that are on old AP tests. So I'm just trying to get the kids used to seeing how the College Board asks the questions. The College Board is the company that gives these AP tests. And then finally, they have another lesson to watch. So as you guys can see, that your students will have about at least 1 to 2 hours a night of homework in this class. And I sent out a contract earlier this year and had students and parents sign it, so hopefully you got that. Now, this is how your student will be graded. I'll just kind of examine that. But as a side note here, homework, notes, and participation, they're not really graded for accuracy. They're graded for effort. But I mean, and by the way, when I say homework, what I really mean here is classwork. That's the stuff we're doing in class because the notes are homework, right? Now, even though I don't grade them for accuracy, we are checking their accuracy for their homework while they're in class. So they should know by the time they leave the class that day whether or not they've really understood that lesson or not. Okay. Now, what will your student need for this class? Well, they need a notebook. We have a textbook. I don't use the textbook as much as just my own lecture materials. And so it's important that the kids have a good notebook. They're keeping their notes organized because that will be a much better tool for them than any textbook. So they're also going to need a graphing calculator. A TI-84 is what I recommend. They are expensive, and in my opinion, they're about $120, $150. But if your student is going into an engineering, science, or mathematics related field, they're going to need it eventually anyway. And so it's a good investment. Now the school does provide a calculator while they're here. I can let them borrow one. And there's actually apps they can download too on their phone that look like calculators. But the downside is that if they're using a cell phone calculator at home and then coming here and using mine and they look a little bit different, they're going to struggle a little bit because the calculators are pretty, abstract, and so there's a lot of different buttons and codes to push in and stuff. And so it's much more preferable that they have their own and they get very used to their own and they get very comfortable with their own. So that would be my encouragement to you, but there are options available if you can't seem to get one for them this year. Now, absences are going to be an issue this year with COVID. Students are getting quarantined and stuff a lot. So what do you do if your student gets absent? Well, if they're sick, hey, they need to rest. I understand that. And I'll be as understanding and patient with getting them time to get their work done as possible. But if they're not sick, they're just quarantining because they were possibly exposed or something like that, and they can actually keep up, I would highly encourage them to keep up with us, to do the same assignments with us on the same days while they're at home. Because everything's on Google Classroom. They just need to go on Google Classroom, and there it is. The only thing they can't do at home that we do here in class is tests and quizzes, so they can do that when they get back. Falling behind in AP Calculus can be a little bit scary. There's a lot of work. We move pretty quick. So we want to make sure that if they are absent, that they are staying on top of it as much as possible. Okay. How can you be helpful to your student? Scheduling. I find that a lot of kids, especially my AP students, they have a lot of AP classes. A lot of them are in extracurricular activities. They have a lot of chores that they need to do at home, or maybe responsibilities like picking up siblings. And sometimes they just don't know how to structure their life well so as to get everything done. So, maybe you as a parent, if you want, if you have the time, it'd be a wonderful blessing to them, I'm sure, to sit down with them, just make a schedule Monday through Saturday. What is each day going to look like? Where are you going to put your homework in? Where are you going to get these responsibilities done? And I think that would be very helpful to them. So if you have time for that, I think it would be a major blessing to them. Check Google Classroom and Power Schools. Power School is a good place to see what's my kid's grade right now. Google Classroom is a great place to look to see, is my student turning in their work? I also put comments and stuff in there sometimes. Now, if your student is struggling with understanding the material, I'm here after school. I just need them to let me know if they're going to come and get some tutoring. There's also something called Princeton Review, which is something that our school subscribes to, and your students get a certain number of hours of free tutoring online with tutors, and that could be at any time of the day. But those are some options. Now, if you're interested in the Princeton Review thing and you don't know about it yet, good place to talk to, just call the school, and counseling office is probably the good people to talk to get figured out on how to sign up for that. And of course, just keep in contact with me through email if you have any questions or concerns or anything like that. So if you need me for anything, that's my email address, and look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you're all having a good year so far, and we'll see you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.